This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Spaun defies chaos and odds, drains 65-foot dagger to seal the first U.S. Open crown. Paper Rex Express flattens Sentinels. Filipino clash fires up Valorant Masters, Toronto. Be inspired by 92-year-old Hiromu Inada, who continues to defy age by conquering the Ironman 70.3 irons. In Major League Baseball, Giancarlo Stanton makes thunderous 2025 Yankees return. Goes 2 for 4 in season debut versus Angels. In the NBA Finals, the Thunder surge past the Pacers as Jalen Williams erupts. OKC moves one win from NBA crown. And joining us tonight to talk about what went down in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, former point guard of the Ateneo Blue Eagles and the LSZ Junior Archers and one of Makati's youngest barangay kagawads, Marco Sario. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 17th of June. Now, here's our roundup. JJ Spaun lived the dream every golfer imagines, conquering Oakmont with a monster 65-foot birdie putt on the final hole to lift his first major title in an emotional storybook finish. Spaun's victory at the U.S. Open was a testament to grit and heart amid chaos that included a sick child at home, a mad dash for medicine, and a miserable start that saw him bogey 5 of the first 6 holes. He rallied with 4 birdies in his final 7 holes, including a daring drive onto the par 4 17th green for a tap-in birdie. And then, the moment of pure magic, a 65-foot putt that curled into the cup on 18 as he watched in shock and joy. This was a win years in the making, from being misdiagnosed with diabetes to suffering playoff heartbreak to standing tall on one of golf's grandest stages. Spaun now joins the elite club of U.S. Open champions who finished birdie a night and a putt that will be remembered in golf history. In esports, Paper Rex continued its dominant run in Valorant Masters Toronto, sweeping America's Sentinels 2-0 to stay unbeaten in the upper bracket. The squad came out swinging on split, racking up 6 straight rounds and sealing a 13-3 win in under 40 minutes. The Sentinels responded on sunset, taking an early 4-0 lead, but the Express stormed back to force a 10-10 deadlock before Jason Forsaken Susanto sealed the deal with a clutch 1v1 finish, defusing the spike just in time to lock a 13-11 victory. The match also featured a highlight Filipino clash between Patrick "Patman" Mendoza and Zachary "Zeken" Patrone. Paper Rex advances to face Wolves Esports on June 21, midnight Manila time, while the Sentinels try to stay alive against Fnatic on June 18 at 3 a.m. Now for some real motivation. Meet Hiromu Inada, who shattered limits at age 92, conquering the Ironman 70.3 irons, showing the world that greatness knows no age. Hiromu Inada completed a grueling 1.9-kilometer Roka swim, 90-kilometer Zoot bike, and 21.1-kilometer Hoka run to cross the finish line of the Cairns Airport Ironman 70.3 in Australia. After retiring at age 60, Inada took up swimming to shed excess weight. But what began as a fitness routine turned into a passion that pushed him to defy limits. Inada, a resident of Yachiyo, Chiba Prefecture, first made headlines when he completed the Ironman World Championship in Hawaii in 2016. And 2 years later, at 85, he set a Guinness World Record as the oldest person to cross the finish line of that prestigious event. 30 years since he first took to the water, Inada continues to inspire athletes of all ages. proving that the human spirit, fueled by passion and determination, has no expiration date. Moving on to Major League Baseball, the Bronx was buzzing as Giancarlo Stanton finally stepped back into the batter's box, and the former MVP delivered, going 2 for 4 with a single and a rocket double that shook Yankee Stadium. Stanton, 35 years old, returned from months of elbow injuries and immediately looked like the power-hitting force the Yankees have been missing. His first hit sent the crowd into a frenzy, while his second, a laser double off the left field wall, reminded fans of his game-changing pop. Despite the 1-0 loss in 11 innings to the Angels, Stanton's return felt like a win for New York. Even with the Yankees recently swept by Boston, the energy shift was palpable, as fans erupted every time Stanton came to the plate. His presence creates a new challenge for the lineup as managerial decisions await on how to balance Ben Rice's at-bats, with Stanton set to lock down the DH spot. The Yankees, still one of the best teams in the American League, are hoping this boost is exactly what they need to get back on track. In the NBA, Tyrese Halliburton arrived in style, but it was Jalen Williams who owned the night, powering Oklahoma City to a 120-109 win and a 3-2 NBA Finals lead. Halliburton arrived at Paycom Center dressed sharp and looking every bit the leader, ready for battle. But when the lights were brightest, it was Jalen Williams who stole the show. Williams unleashed a career-high 40 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal as the Thunder held off a gutsy Pacers fight back to snatch Game 5 of the NBA Finals 120-109, putting OKC just one win away from their first NBA title since moving to Oklahoma. Sharp shooting and stingy defense set the tone early as the Thunder turned 23 Pacers turnovers into 32 points while hitting 14 of 32 from long range. But the Pacers, inspired by TJ McConnell's spark and Pascal Siakam's 28 points, trimmed an 18-point deficit to just 2 midway through the fourth. The crowd tensed as moments of Game 1's collapse flooded back. Then, Williams calmly nailed a huge 3, reigniting OKC's charge. Cason Wallace followed with a steal and layup to rebuild the cushion. From there, the Thunder never looked back. Halliburton, fighting through calf tightness, gutted it out but finished with just 4 points in a frustrating night for the Pacers star. Now, the series shifts to Indianapolis for Game 6 on Friday, where OKC can write the final chapter of this incredible run. And now, here's your daily dose of sports lingo. Who says only knights can spear the sky? Did you know that spearing the sky is a javelin throw term that describes a throw where the javelin is launched at a steep angle? This phrase is often used by commentators to highlight a throw that soars high into the air before descending into the sector. While visually spectacular, a throw that spears the sky too much can actually cost distance because the optimal release angle is usually between 32 and 36 degrees. So next time you see a javelin arc toward the clouds, remember, it takes more than height to win gold. Now it's time for our off-court buzzer. Hollywood glam met racing glory as Formula One's biggest stars took over Times Square for the premiere of F1 The Movie. But it was Max Verstappen's no-show, again, that stole the spotlight as the champ raced home to be with his baby girl. Verstappen was also absent during the F1 movie screening in Monaco last May. And then again, it was a night of flashing lights, roaring fans, and unstoppable energy as F1's elite owned the red carpet for the premiere of F1, the movie in New York City. Brad Pitt, Lewis Hamilton, and a grid full of superstars brought the thrill of the track to the big screen. As for the absent Verstappen, he was quoted as saying, "Don't force me to go somewhere that's not how it should be," a message that proved to be louder than any engine. The film, a high-octane story starring Pitt as a comeback driver turned mentor, was shot alongside real races with the full power of F1 and the FIA behind it. Hamilton called the project a dream come true, fusing his love for film and racing into a blockbuster that promises to ignite the passion of fans around the world. And here's what's also making a buzz. Antonio Costa, president of the European Council, gifted US President Trump a jersey signed by no other than football GOAT Cristiano Ronaldo, bearing a special message to President Trump, playing for peace as a team. The president was in Alberta, Canada for the G7 Leaders Summit, where he was presented the jersey with the message, to which he replied, "I like that, playing for peace." A timely message in this volatile time we are in. And that's our roundup for tonight, the 17th of June. Up next, former point guard for the Ateneo Blue Eagles Team B and DLSZ Junior Archers and one of Makati's youngest barangay kagawads, Marco Sario, joins us to talk about what went down in Game 5 of the NBA Finals and what we can expect in Game 6. When we return right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to The Scorecard. Game 5 of the NBA Finals has just concluded with OKC soaring over the Pacers. What went down and what can we expect in Game 6? We have former Ateneo Blue Eagle Team B point guard, former DLSZ Junior Archer, and now one of Makati's youngest and trailblazing barangay kagawads from Barangay San Lorenzo, Marco Sario, here tonight to join us in breaking down the numbers and to look ahead at what lies ahead for both Indiana and OKC. Brother, welcome back to studio. Welcome back to BNC. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Good evening to everyone. So it's live right now. I'm excited to be here and talk about the game that I love, which is basketball. So basketball is my first love. And then now I transitioned to politics, which is public service, which I love also.
Yeah. And you also love traveling because based on your recent Instagram post, panay pictures all over Europe. Kamusta ka naman? I mean, before we get to the basketball, how have you been lately? Ano ba ang pinagkakaabalahan mo recently?
So basically, I went to Europe spontaneously.
Spontaneously?
I just booked a flight. And yeah, all hell broke loose. Had so much fun at the time of my life. It was unforgettable. I wish I could go back again.
Okay, medyo na-intriga ako sa all hell broke loose. Ano ba na-experience mo doon? Bakit? Why did you say all hell broke loose? What happened? What did you experience out there in Europe?
Aside from, you're traveling, so you don't know what to expect. Diba? It's unknown. I'm in a foreign country by myself, which is like, okay, ano ba gagawin ko next? So all hell broke loose because like, I didn't know what to do, but I just like enjoyed every minute of it.
Okay, so it was sort of an experience for you.
Yes.
First time without your family, nag-travel ka.
Yes.
Wow. All right. Well, we're glad to have you back because we're talking about the NBA Finals. We've had different guests come on the show. So game number 5, Marco, pag-usapan natin. This was the first time since March 10 that Indiana lost back-to-back games. Ano ang nangyari sa Indiana? Was it something that happened to Indiana or was it OKC just proving that they are the better team?
So yeah, I think for me, OKC was the number one best defense in the league. So they showed why they're the number one defensive team by pressuring also the point guard, which is Haliburton. I think Indiana had 22 turnovers, while OKC had 11.
Yeah.
So ako as a point guard, also as a basketball player, syempre if the ball pressure is very hard, I can't really think that much and I can't set up the plays, which OKC did.
Yeah. And Tyrese Haliburton had the worst game, in my opinion, in his NBA playoff career. Did not score a field goal. Nakashoot siya ng mga free throws, 4. Pero yun lang yung na-score niya buong game. Marco, you actually sent me some reasons as to why OKC won this game.
Yes.
If we could put it up here in the LED, yung mga bullet points na pinadala mo sa akin, you have been stressing that OKC is the number 1 defensive team in the NBA, and that's something that we saw in game number 5.
Yes. So, saan na ba yung LED natin para may kodigo ako? Hindi, joke. but yeah, I mean, looking back at it, like you see OKC, number 1 best defensive player. SGA, everyone wants to play defense. And also, they're a good defensive team. So everyone helps off each other, ganyan. And like, so sorry. And like, syempre, with their defense, like, they force a lot of turnovers. And which we were talking about a while ago also, the points of turnovers. OKC had 32.
Ayan, this is what you have mentioned as reasons kung bakit nanalo ang OKC. Kindly break it down for everyone, Marco.
Okay, so first of all, Indiana had 22 turnovers. Imagine turning the ball over 22 times. That will lead to fast break points, which OKC had after they have an airtight defense. You could see the ball pressure was airtight. After a turnover, fast break points, 3 points, easy basket, right? And also, the main focus of them was to shut down Hali.
Oh my God. Very disappointing. If you're Tyrese Haliburton, ito yung game na you wish you could get back. Kasi NBA Finals game to di ba? Game 5, 2-2 parehas, and then you wet the bed because that's what happened. Tyrese Haliburton, who has been so clutch in these playoffs, he wet the bed in game number 5. Hindi pwede yun na hindi ka makakashoot kahit isang basket. Sa free throw ka lang nakashoot? Ano yan? What the hell? Well, we're gonna talk about that later on. But Marco, you also focused on the stars, yung matchups. Siyempre, SGA, Tyrese Haliburton, and then J-Dub, and then of course, Pascal Siakam. Ano masasabi mo dito sa matchup of stars natin?
Actually, yun nga eh. So, the first head-to-head matchup was SGA and Hali.
Yeah.
With the disparity of the stats, kita mo, Haliburton didn't score sa first half, and SGA had his numbers. I think he scored like 30-plus points. But at the same time, the second stars of the team, which is Pascal Siakam, he performed well, but J-Dub had an incredible game. He had 40 points. Anton, imagine 40 points. Pag ginagawa mo ata sa liga sa Ayala Alabang yan, Anton, Kano kahirap yun, right? And also, he's the X factor of OKC. I think if he plays well, like everyone's gonna play well.
Yeah.
They can't just like, hindi sila pwede umasa kay SJ lahat because they need all the players, all the role players also.
Actually, aminado ako na hindi pa ako believe kay J-Dub nung nagsimula itong playoffs na to. But now, I am willing to admit, I am man enough to say, I am sorry. Jalen Williams and all J-Dub fans, OKC fans, I was not familiar with your game, but now I am. 17 points in game 1, 19 points in game number 2, 26 points in game number 3, 27 points in game 4, 40 in game 5. Pataas ng pataas yung level ng paglalaro niya. He has arrived, Marco, and now people are saying he's the best number 2 player in the NBA. What can you say about that? Is he the best number 2 in the NBA?
I think, Anton, it's arguable because when you talk about the NBA, it's abroad. Maraming star players. Siguro, if I were to break it down, Lakers, Luka Doncic is number 1 for sure. Paano naman si LeBron James, di ba? I mean, one of the best players that ever played.
Weird, no? Sabihin na number 2 si LeBron.
Exactly. Like, imagine mo, at this time, well, he's not getting any younger. He's 40 years old, but he's still dominating the game.
Yeah.
Which I think, for me, the number 2 best player in the league right now is LeBron James. What do you think about that?
Okay, well, you know what? LeBron is LeBron. Actually, on some nights, para sa akin, number 1 pa rin si LeBron. Even with Luka, because, I mean, I think until LeBron retires, there's always that potential na on any given night, he can be the best player on the floor.
Yes. Have you seen the Olympics last year?
He was the best player.
Exactly. Sino nagbuhat last year? Si LeBron James.
Yeah.
And sorry to all the LeBron James haters. I'm not trying to, hindi ko siya binubuhat yung bangko niya, but he's really, 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 really good. And sana, I'm a Lakers fan also. I'm a LeBron fan. So hopefully next year, they'll be part of the semifinals at least.
Yeah, you guys need a big though. Anyway, okay, respect to Lolo LeBron, respect to J-Dub. Pero anyari kay Tyrese Haliburton, what the hell? Okay, Marco, we were talking about this, nagte-text tayo kanina. Ano ba siya? Is he, bumabalik yung usapan na overrated si Haliburton or was he injured? Kasi nakita nga natin, that one play, he fell down, parang bumigay yung calf muscle niya. Ano masasabi mo dito sa Game 5 ni Haliburton?
Actually, ito na masasabi ko dyan. what the hali? I think imagine mo you're the focal point of in your offense, right? Tapos you're gonna score 4 points at the NBA fans, which you should probably show up the most. Diba? Finals na yun eh. There's no going back, right? And for me, averaging those points, parang I think he's kind of overrated, but at the same time, maybe he's injured. We'll never know.
Para sa akin, may injury. That's my opinion. Because like, I've seen calf injuries before, experienced calf injuries myself, and mahirap talaga maglaro when you pull a calf. And we saw, bumigay eh. And then he had that ice pack on his leg walking in the locker. So para sa akin, may iniindang injury. But unfortunate, but it's in the finals na eh. So kailangan niyang ilaban yan kahit hindi siya 100%.
Siguro sa athletic trainers ng Indiana, he's been taking a lot of painkillers for sure.
And that's not good.
It's not good. Exactly. It's not good. But for me, he has to channel his inner Mamba mentality. Despite being hurt, despite being injured, you have to play through it.
All right, brother, let's focus now on Game 6 because Game number 5 is done and dusted. Back-to-back wins for OKC. As I said, yung Indiana hindi pa nakaka-experience ng back-to-back losses since March 10. They're in danger of losing 3 straight, brother. Ano sa tingin mo mangyayari sa Game 6? Will there be a Game number 7 or tatapusin na ba ng OKC itong serye na to?
So, syempre, given the fact that it's Indiana's home court, OKC will probably be challenged. But if what the Hali does not perform, di ba, OKC is gonna beat them. So, for me, I think they have to step up on defense also. They have to know the rules. Like, for example, si Halliburton's, you're a point guard, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to facilitate the offense more. You have to be involved. So, paano ka magiging threat sa loob if you're not scoring?
Yeah.
So
I think it boils down, bro, to yung health ni Halliburton eh.
Yes.
If he's not 100%, it's gonna be a wrap. OKC is gonna win it, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to go down as one of the best point guards in NBA history. As in, right now, he actually has as many 30-point games as the great Kobe Bryant. He tied Kobe Bryant with 11 30-point games in the playoffs. And if he gets another 30-point game, he will tie Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. Kasi Michael Jordan and Olajuwon have the record, 12 playoff games in a single playoffs with 30-plus point games. Grabe.
But do you really think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a point guard? Parang, for me, he's a 2, but he plays. I think his position is shooting guard, but he brings down the ball all the time. So I think he's more of a scorer. So, but he really reads the defense well. So, kunyari, he's gonna post up. If someone doubles, pass kick out, 3 points libre, open shot. So
ganito na lang, sasabihin ko, si SGA is a Canadian version of Marco Sario that's much taller. Kasi yung Marco Sario, ganun din yung stats eh, 30-plus points, diba? 7 rebounds, 11 assists. Diba yun yung stats mo sa mga liga eh?
Ano yan, sa mga ligang lagpas yun siguro, Ton. But yeah, I mean, like, I wish I had his height. If I had his height, siguro as a PBA tayo, but unfortunately not. That's why we're here serving our community, which I'm proud of. So shout out to all the Barangay San Lorenzo constituents and also all the basketball fans. I can't wait to be back also, like to play professional basketball soon.
Ayun.
Hopefully, I have the chance and also have the time.
Yeah, before we close this interview, Marco, ano ba, what's your message to everybody who have been following you? And speaking of basketball, what is next for you? Ano ba ang status? Are you thinking of going back to the MPBL? What's next ba for Mr. Marco Sario?
Actually, Anton, that's a military question. I honestly don't know if I'm playing ball again like competitively. But siguro na I'm just gonna focus on being a public servant, which is serving our people here in the barangay.
Ayan. So there you have it. Barangay Kagawad, Marco Sario back here in the BNC studio. Brother, thank you so much for the time.
It's an honor to be here.
Let's do this again soon. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Anton. It's an honor to be here. Thank you to all the people that watched our live. Sana nag-enjoy kayo just a bit. And also, thank you. I'm honored to be here. Maraming salamat to everyone.
All right. Kagawad, Marco Sario. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Up next, can Caitlin Clark do it again? The Sun are sliding and the Fever are flying. Tomorrow could be the next chapter in the league's most watched storyline. Clark is back, Indiana's believing, and the rest of the WNBA, well, they better start paying attention. So let's lock in and keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the Scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. All right. Sit down, grab your coffee. I know it's late, but maybe you can try. And maybe cue up a Reggie Miller mixtape if you're feeling nostalgic. Because what we just saw from Caitlin Clark against New York, that was an arrival moment. And now, Indiana Fever fans, you've got to be asking the question, was that the spark? So tomorrow, the Fever are back home hosting the struggling Connecticut Sun. Normally, this is a mid-season Eastern Conference matchup. Like, this isn't what grabs headlines. But when the league's biggest new star drops 32 in a takedown of the previously undefeated New York Liberty, you gotta circle that date, and let's lay the foundation here. Indiana comes in 5-5, but that's 500 ball. That number doesn't really tell the story. They just knocked off the champs with an avalanche of three-pointers, 17 threes in the game. That's franchise record stuff. And Caitlin Clark, she looked rested, she looked angry, and she definitely torched everybody. Now, this wasn't just Clark keep checking her way to a highlight reel. This was actually team basketball. Kelsey Mitchell had 22, Lexi Hull was giving solid support, and Aaliyah Boston, my favorite low-post anchor not named Aja, held it down with a double-double. And the Fever, they look like a unit. And now, Connecticut rolls into Indy on fumes. They just got worked by a Sky team that's still trying to find itself. Angel Reese, she had her first triple-double. HVL, Hailey Van Lith, had her breakout game. The Sun, well, they got outscored by 34 off the bench. 34! So let's be honest here. Connecticut is in a funk. They're 2-8. They've lost 5 of 6. And they're without rookie Raya Marshall. And now, they've got to slow down Clark on her home floor. After the most confident performance of her pro career, good luck. This is the Caitlin Clark domino effect. With her on the floor, the Fever stretched the court, unlocked the wings, and forced teams to choose. Trap her or get torched. Against New York, Clark wasn't just scoring. She was playmaking, 9 assists, controlled tempo. She knew when to take over. Now that is star behavior. And for Indiana, well, there's more on the line than just wins. This team wants relevance. They want momentum. They want to prove they're not just a one-player show. Tuesday's game isn't just about beating the Sun. It's about keeping the engine running. To stay ahead of the game as the battle for the WNBA heats up. And here is your forecast for tomorrow. That wraps up tonight's preview so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. From a trailblazer on and off the court who rose from humble beginnings to becoming a multi-time MVP and volleyball icon, Alyssa, the Phenom Valdez, once said, "Never forget where you came from. It will always lead you home and remind you why you started." We would like to take this moment, by the way, because this is a very important day before we say goodbye. Nais po namin batiin on behalf of the entire Bilyonaryo News Channel, everybody here, to the best graphics man in the business, Mr. Jay Vasquez. Happy birthday, boss! Boss Jay, happy birthday! Ayun, no? Hawak-hawak pa yung ating PMPC Best Sports Show Trophy. Mr. Best Graphics in the Business, Jay Vasquez. Boss Jay, happy birthday sa'yo. More power. And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow on the Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport right here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This has been Anton Roxas. Have a blessed evening, everybody. Good night.